So I'm gonna start the process of replacing both catalytic converters. I never like to do just one half of things, since one cat goes on one side of the engine. I will be replacing both halves. I'm going to start by disconnecting your oxygen sensors. Got one there, one down in here. Probably see that connector there. Kind of hard to see, but yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get these disconnected, and then we'll start working on pulling. There should be 4 bolts attaching the catalytic converter to the head. I gotta disconnect it from down here at the Y pipe. Gotta take off these 2 bolts, and then we'll start getting to the harder one. Be back with you shortly. So really quick, one thing I just wanted to note is if you guys could go ahead and get one of these oxygen sensor sockets, they will make your life a lot easier. As you can see, it's kind of tight down in there, so wrench is not going to work, and obviously you can't put a standard socket on there because of the wires. So getting one of these sensor sockets will absolutely make your life so much easier. Alright guys, so here I am still working on the catalytic converters. This front one here, so far it's looking like it's going to be easiest for most individuals to release these brackets. There's one up here and one down here on the transmission, and they're 13 millimeter. And it should give you just enough room to scoot it over and manipulate it around, so that way you can get to this backside bolt on the back of the cat there on the bottom. That is being a booger there. So we're going to try and break that coolant line free, so that way I can move it over enough to get a wrench in there. It's going to be really helpful if you guys happen to have a wrench, ratcheting wrench with a swivel head, to get that, because a socket is not going to be able to get on there because it's actually behind the catalytic converter, so there's no room to get in between there. So once I get this broken free and get that bolt out, I will show you. Alright guys, another update on the catalytic converters. So the easiest method I'm finding so far is I drain the cooling line here, comes from your reservoir, and then wise into here, and you got a couple on this side of the engine as well. I had to drain those so I'm able to move the coolant line there. And then I had to move the thermostat to radiator hose, so that way I could remove the serpentine belt to get the alternator off, because getting the 1 bolt at the back of the or on the bottom side closest to the alternator, that bolt's very, very hard to get to. So that was going to be the only real method that's going to be the easiest to gain access to that bolt. Also, I went ahead and started doing the back side here. I'll show you guys that really quick. It's kind of a bit of an extensive job, but I had to remove this midsection pipe and the catalytic converter there. Let me see if I can't get in here to show you guys a little better, but it is pretty tight in here. You can see there, you got one of your O2 sensor connectors just above the trans output, and you've got one a little bit higher up there. It's gonna be hard for me to show you, but it's the white connector in between up there, and you just got to reach in through this way and get to it. When you remove that catalytic converter, it actually is going to drop down this way and out. So you see the oil pan there, it actually drops out this way, and then you'll be able to get it out from underneath the vehicle, so that way you can get it replaced. As I get more updates, I will let you guys know. Move this line, put it up in here, and we're gonna hook it, lock the top in place. Okay. A little bit over there. Okay, that should be hooked. Do not move that. Top bolt translites. Alright, so got to turn on the video camera during the install on this, but basically all you're going to do is leave the back catalytic converter and the front catalytic converter fairly loose, so that way you've got a little bit of wiggle room in between to put your Y pipe in, but you're going to feed the one side back up in there again. The football shaped donut goes, gasket goes back here, and then the exhaust donut or exhaust flange goes on this end inside of the pipe. So just make sure, biggest thing is make sure you give yourself some wiggle room, leaving the catalytic converters loose, so that way you can actually get the pipe up in there, or else you'd be fighting it and it would not be a good time. So we're gonna go ahead and get this get these all bolted up here, front and rear. Then I'm gonna tighten my catalytic converters, and we should be able to start putting in the midsection of the exhaust. So we'll be back with you here once I'm finished with that, and we'll show you some of the install on the second piece of the pipe. Pipe on there. If you want to grab that section for me. Start trying to push that heat shield just a little bit. There we go. It's, super tight fit, so now I should definitely have given room. Put that up in there a little bit. So see. And you want to hold that up in place and then work on it. If you can come over here.
Do you want me to let that down?
Or let me see.
It's still recording.
So you can see there where the exhaust here. You can see that stud right there. Fell into place. Once it's all the way down, lots of anti-seize is going to be your best friend. And then on this side here, I use a ratchet strap to pull the exhaust back as far as I can. So put on the clamp here. Like I said, I anti-seize everything to death, absolute to death, because I hate fighting parts so much that anti-seize became my absolute best friend with everything. So I anti-seize everything way too much, but I rarely fight with parts that way. So there we go. So that slipped right in. Got a good coat of anti-seize in there. Grab some anti-seize. Anti-seize for when your lips get dry. I put down everything. I said I absolutely hate fighting stuff when I'm working. It's I hate with a passion fighting parts. The heat will help to a certain extent, but if you're in a pinch and you want it done now, if it can't stick together, it makes life so much easier. So that's why I put way too much anti-seize on everything, because all I do is spend a few more bucks in anti-seize and makes my life a lot simpler. So I rarely am fighting parts. Rarely. Once in a while, the anti-seize won't seem like it's enough. But try not the right one. Let me grab a. That's one. The sockets are out of place. Over here. Oh, my sockets got jumbled here. So, I am not about to crawl back out, so I don't know why. Sorry. Correct sizes, so I'm just gonna use one that's just slightly loose. Here we go. Ratcheting hammer. Let's get the ratchet strap off here. There we go. Alright. Slip shove it into place. Start squeezing it down.
That was almost your face.
It was my face, but it's alright. It's good for it. Builds morale. Build character. Okay. Just enough it won't separate. That certainly won't separate, so pop it back in here. Handy dandy exhaust holder. Whatever you can reach. That's what I say. Alright. Now. It's way too long to get to that one, so I'll have to grab the proper size. Alright, so this is the last piece here to have to tighten for the exhaust at least. Okay, so it doesn't have to be too crazy tight, just snug enough. And then if you look, it's getting tight, everything fell into place there. So we're good. Now,
Did you pause it?
we'll be moving back up top. So